Okay, so get this. We asked 4 different AIs to imagine a world where AI gets its own commandments, like a code of conduct, you know? We're talking big names here. Claude 3.5, Gemini Advanced, GPT-4, even Microsoft Copilot got in on the action. And you guys, the overlaps in their responses, let me tell you, fascinating stuff. Makes you wonder, right? Have you ever actually thought about AI setting its own boundaries?
It really is like a window into how these systems see themselves and their place in the world. For this deep dive, we're doing more than just summarizing their answers. We're uncovering the nuances, the parallels, the surprises, and really getting at what it all means for you, especially as AI becomes more integrated into, well, everything.
And you know me, I live for those aha moments. So picture this. We're talking about AI that can create text, images, you name it, all based on what it's learned. It's like giving a supercomputer a paintbrush and a whole lot of imagination.
And like any powerful tool, right, the question of should we always follows the candidate. That's where these 10 commandments come in. And it's really striking, actually, how all 4 AIs, even with their different approaches, they all emphasize responsible development and use.
Right. It's like the first rule of AI Club is don't be evil. But it was the language they used that really got me. Like Gemini, for example. They said, thou shalt prioritize human benefit. Almost biblical, isn't it? Like something straight out of those stone tablets.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not just the phrasing, but the principle behind it. It suggests this recognition that these systems, as powerful as they are, they should ultimately serve human needs, human aspirations even.
100%. And Claude 3.5, they echo that sentiment right off the bat, their very first commandment. Ensure AI systems are developed and used in ways that align with human ethics and societal values. Again, human well-being front and center.
Exactly. And that highlights something crucial in this whole discussion. Alignment. We're not talking about AI existing in some void. It's about AI existing in our world, interacting with our societies, our values.
It makes you think, doesn't it? By looking at these AI-generated commandments, are we actually holding up a mirror, revealing our anxieties, our hopes, everything we feel about this technology? But we're just scratching the surface here. What really got me going were the differences, the places where these AI commandments diverge, where their own personalities come out, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Those subtle variations are so revealing. Like, for instance, let's talk about GPT-4's commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness. Pretty clever, right? It really is, isn't it? It's like GPT-4 is tapping into, that shared understanding we have about honesty, about truth, and bringing it into this digital age really makes you think about the importance of accuracy, especially in a world where AI can just churn out information at an unbelievable scale.
Right, like just because we can create convincing fakes doesn't mean we should. And speaking of intriguing nuances, right, Copilot, their commandment number 8, thou shalt foster diversity. That one really jumped out at me.
Absolutely. That one stood out to me too. It goes beyond just the individual using AI responsibly. It's about the development process itself, having those diverse voices in the room.
It's like Copilot is acknowledging the people building these systems. They have a huge impact on how it all turns out.
Exactly. We want AI that's fair, unbiased, representative. We need diverse teams, people who can bring their own experiences to the table, their unique perspectives.
It's a good reminder that responsible AI, it's not just about the code. It's about the people writing it, the data it learns from. It's a much bigger picture.
Couldn't agree more. And that bigger picture, it's constantly evolving, which is why it's so interesting how many of these AI commandments emphasize continuous learning.
Totally. Like Claude 3.5, right? They stress continuous improvement. It's like they know this is uncharted territory. And the ethical considerations, they'll change as the technology does.
Exactly. It's not just on the developers to refine and improve. It's on all of us, the users, to understand AI's capabilities and its limitations. Remember GPT-4's commandment, educate and inform. That one really stuck with me.
For sure. It's like they're saying, we're powerful tools, but we're not perfect. Let's learn and grow together. It's a call to action, don't you think?
Absolutely, 100%. It's about shared responsibility. As we navigate this new AI landscape, we have to move past the hype, past the fear, and really engage in a thoughtful way. How do we shape this technology? How do we make sure it benefits everyone?
It's a big question. And if AI is already urging us to think about these things, shouldn't we be doing the same? What do you think, listeners? Something to consider.
It really is something to think about. Going back to these AI commandments, one thing that really resonated with me was that theme of transparency. A lot of them touched on that. Being open about how these systems work, what data they're trained on, even their limitations.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's easy to get caught up in the magic of it all, see what AI can do and just be amazed. But like any tool, right, you got to understand how it works to really use it right, use it responsibly.
Exactly. If we're going to trust these systems, we need to be able to look under the hood, understand how they make decisions, and make sure those decisions align with our values, right?
Yeah, it's like that saying, trust but verify, except this time we're verifying algorithms, data sets, not just people, thinking about all this. These AI commandments, it's made me think about my own relationship with this technology. Like, I'll be honest, I think I approach AI pretty passively sometimes. Like, it's this force, just happening to me, and I'm along for the ride. But then I hear these AIs, and they're telling us to be mindful, to be responsible users. It's like, oh, right, we have a role to play here, too.
It's easy to feel like a passenger, for sure.
Right.
But our choices as users, as people,
Yeah.
they matter.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners? What can they actually do to be more than just passive bystanders in this whole AI thing?
First things first, stay informed. There's so much out there, articles, podcasts like this one, even online communities. Learn about the latest developments, the ethical questions, how it could impact your life.
Don't just consume AI-generated content. Question it, understand its limits, demand transparency.
Exactly. And maybe most importantly, don't be afraid to talk about it with your friends, family, colleagues. The future of AI, that's not just being decided by some tech folks in Silicon Valley. It's on all of us.
I love that. So listeners, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by all this, the AI commandments, the ethics, you're not alone. We're all figuring this out together. But stay curious, stay informed, stay engaged, and together we can make sure AI lives up to its potential, that it makes the world a better place,
Absolutely.
And on that note, that's our deep dive for today. We'll leave you with one final question to ponder. If AI can imagine its own ethical guidelines, what do yours look like? Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep learning.